Okay, so this is what we did last class, and I am just going to go over these first four or five lines, I should say, which is kind of what we did last class, but a couple of you, I guess, needed me to review it, so let me just go ahead and review it. So Lehman means threshold, so and erat is was, so there was a threshold or doorway. There's about four different ways to say doorway here, and hidden. Forays is again sort of like entrances or doorway, maybe passages, passages. And usus here means usable, pervious, passageways. There's got to be a way, hallways, entrances, the same thing. All right, so there was a threshold, Lehman, here. Here, I guess I need to use my pointer cube, right? So there was, oh, that does not work. So there was a threshold and hidden passages and a usable entrance. Um, and I think you all said that the book was telling you to use the inter se as between uh, in the between and it's like tictorum priami in between the roofs of Priam, which really means in between the walls. So we're talking about hidden passageways within the palace wall. Think like Gothic castle, medieval ghost story type thing, even Scooby-Doo, right? There's always a hidden passage. So in between the walls of Priam. And in this case, we could say Priam's understood palace because that's where we are. Okay. Um, and relecte is a left behind art, even like remaining and a remaining door frame. Okay, so again, what we have is um this idea of Aeneas sneaking into the passage because that's where we are. All right, Aeneas has I don't know what happened to the two that were with him. What were their names? Hold on. It was whoever they were. One that was old and one that was wounded. They appeared to have disappeared somewhere in between the mad dash out of that like triple threat that they had and getting to the palace walls. Vergil doesn't go into details. So, um, oh, and a door Terrago remaining door frame in the back. Like means from, but we would say by the back, maybe by the back, by i.e. in the rear of the palace. So he's finding a back entrance into this palace. Oh, I can't take that back. All right, it's fine. Infilex. And so now what we have are these three lines here that are reminding us of Andromache. Okay, and remember, Andromache is the wife of Hector. Uh, so the unlucky, and of course she's unlucky because her husband is dead and her husband's about to be, or her husband is dead and her son is about to be murdered in front of her. We don't actually see it in this story. It happens later on, but it does happen. Um, Andromache. Uh, Quia is just a relative pronoun, basically telling us where. Uh, the lucky Andromache, in which I guess you should want to put the in which first, like in which the unlucky Andromache, because the Quay is telling us the place where. Where is she doing this? She's doing it in these hidden passageways. All right. In which, whoops, Dum Regina Manebat, while the kingdom was standing or remaining, I guess Manebat really does mean to remain, was remaining. All right. Okay. All right, we have the Scipius and the Solebat. So was it was customed. All right, so Solebat was usable, and it takes an infinitive, which is why we have the fairy here. So the unlucky Andromache, in which, so or in could do the in which first, in which the unlucky Andromache, while the kingdom was remaining, uh, more, Sipes is a comparative, frequently, um, was accustomed to, I guess would be better, accustomed to carry. And now you got to go back up to the say here. All right. And that's the reflexive pronoun. It always goes back to the subject. So was accustomed to carry herself. Okay. And so we have this idea. So remember, in this Greek household, you would not have been allowed outside of the women's quarter or the family quarters, I guess I should say. Um, sort of the hidden part of the home. She would not have been allowed into the public forum without her husband or a male chaperone. So she wouldn't be able to take a Stynex, her son, to his grandfather unless there was a way for her to do it without people knowing, and that's what these hidden passageways were for. Okay, so it was a carrot to her, and the soqueros means in-laws to her parent, say in-laws, to her in-laws, and trahebat, and she was trahebat literally means dragging, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe carrying is better here. He just didn't want to say ferrybat again. Um, the boy, puerum, and puerum, remember, is used for a young boy who has not come of age. She was dragging really is awful. Let's say carrying the boy, a Stynex, Tyanax, um, to his grandfather. Because of course, that's the most important patron of this. And even in the Roman times, keep in mind you were not allowed to set up your own household until the oldest male relative in your family had passed. So if, for example, in your family, your father's father is still alive, then technically your father's father is the one who has control over your house, your dad, your mom, you, the finances, everything in the Roman world. Okay. It wasn't until that paternal figure passed on that the next generation could then sort of assume their own control of their own things. So when you guys were looking, those children were still living at home. How could that be? Well, it's because Priam still ruled. He ruled them, he ruled the palace, he ruled everything. Okay. So we have all that. All right, so we did that last time. So hopefully that's helpful. I think I have to erase all of this. Can I get rid of this? Let's see, because I just want to go down. Oh, still no, let me get rid of this. Let me go to pointer. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm gonna have to delete all that though. All right, so that gave you guys time to catch all that though. So I'm gonna go ahead. It's been a long time since I've had to do this. Oh, good. I can just do. Okay. So, what we're going to have is a couple of lines, and I'm going to do these two lines, a wado. Now, notice the change here, a wado, first person singular. I escaped to the festigia, to the like rooftop, sumi culminus of the highest point, really. To the rooftop, one word, two words, I don't know, of the highest point. Okay. So he is inside the palace at this point. All right. He is inside Priam's palace and he is going up to the tallest tower as a defensive measure. Remember, he went to Priam's palace to lend aid to those people who are fighting. They are fighting from the tallest tower because it's the most defensible point. Um, you can do some research on siege warfare if you need to, but that's, trust me, it is. All right. Unde means from where. Okay. There probably is a comma in there. I just can't see it. From where? Right. That's unde. Okay. The teruki miseri, the miserable Trojans. Miserable Trojans. Yaktebant were throwing. Okay. Tela in Rita. They're pointless, they're useless, they're useless weapons. Okay, and that's the tela, manu by hand. So we have this idea again. We know that from what I've told you, what we've done, the research that Troy is going to fall, there's nothing that can be done. So basically, any defense that they're giving right now is basically useless. So Vergil is adding to the pathos or the misery of this because not only are the Trojans miseri, not only are they sad, but their weapons are indriti, they're useless. So there is nothing the Trojans can do to sort of stop this attack. All right, I've got to erase these two things and go down because now we're going to be talking about a tower. And this tower, Turum here, is a little bit convoluted. So I'm going to see if I can, I don't know if they're going to let me see. So this Turum, oh, let's see, can I highlight it? Okay, so this Turum here is a direct object. The verb that governs the Turum is the convelemos, all right? And this whole phrase is basically convelemos, we tore up Turum, the tower. It is real. I'm going to say it's a word picture. It is a word picture because the word for Turum is way down, is way up here. And the word that we're going to tear up, convelemos, is way down here. And he is literally going to be like levering underneath the tower to sort of force it over. Because what they're going to try to do, what they end up doing, is they're knocking this tall tower over onto the Greeks. Okay. So you start up here and we talk about the tower, and then we go all the way down here and we talk about what he does with it. And in between is descriptive phrases describing about where the tower is and what it's doing. So that's when things get a little just dense. But I'm telling you this. So you have the Turum, the tower, we have the convelemos, and then there's a bunch of stuff in between. So let me go back and explain it to you. Okay. Turum. And I start with the Turum, although I suppose you could bring up the convelemos if you really want to. All right, so the tower, which is going to be the direct object of a verb coming on. Okay, where is the tower? It is stantum. All right, it is right here. Stantum, the tower, standing in precipiti on the edge, understood of this tall point. So it's like even though he's at the tallest point of the wall, there's another tower, I guess, nearby. And whoops. So it is stantum, it is standing in precipiti on the edge, quae and eductum having been let out, sumis tectis from the highest roof, sub astra under the stars. Okay, from the oops, highest roof. Okay, having been let out under the stars. Oops, stars. That's the subastra. All right, so we got all this going on. I don't think I can get all this together. I wonder if I can get this. Can I? Yeah. All right, so that's the subastra. So the tower standing on the edge, okay, from the highest roof, having been let out, eductum, okay, under the stars. Unde. Unde we've had before. We just had it actually. So from where? Okay, notice the first person. From where? Actually, it's not first person. Hold on. From where? Okay, omnes Troia. Now we're entering into sort of a subordinate clause. From where all of Troy, or just all Troy. Okay. And it's like you need an is able, like posum, or not anyway, just put it in. It's not there, is able, but it's understood. Is able. Videre is a passive infinitive, to be seen. Okay, so he's able to see all of Troy out in front of him. It's like a lookout point. All right. From where Troy is able to be seen. Okay, and solitiae naves, and the accustomed, how do I say accustomed? Accustomed accustomed ships of the Greeks, and the achaia is another way of saying Greek, and the Greek camps. Now, a castra is a military camp. It's very specific here. So the castra, meaning military camp, because they've been besieged for 10 years. So it had become normal for them to look out from their walls and see Greek ships and Greek encampments. All right. Now, like The day before, when they looked out, remember the ships had been gone, the encampments had been gone. Everything looked like the Greeks had left. Okay, it was a big joke. And then when the Greeks destroyed their, I'm sorry, when the Trojans destroyed their gates and took in the wooden horse, the Greeks took advantage and destroyed them. Okay, so Aeneas is standing on the top of the palace next to this tower that had been let out, and he is staring out over all of Troy, and he's seeing the ships are back and the camps are back. Okay. Agressi circum. So the aggressi, remember for gradior, ready, gressus sum. So ad aggressi, having gone forth, or the we could even say the attacking ones in circum, the attacking ones encircling ferro with iron. Okay. The attacking ones encircling with iron. Okay. Um okay, so I'm looking at this. All right, so here, let's go back. The tower standing on the edge. Okay, so they're finding a tower, right? He's on the top of the wall. They found a tower. It's let out, it's under the stars. All of Troy can be seen, so it's super up high. Remember, as this is happening, the Greeks are trying to, climb up the walls to get onto the roof to attack, the last defenders. Okay. Now, about this tower. So I was looking at this at Griff's and I just sort of looked at this and I'm like, I think I'm changing my mind a little bit, not much. But the attacking ones here are not the Greeks, but are rather Aeneas and his men. So they are attacking Turum, the tower, with iron. Okay. And why are they doing this? So the tower, okay, is it's a brick wall. And what they're going to do is they're going to chip at the mortar with their swords. Okay. And this actually makes more sense because I was looking at the quia, uh in which quia, and the quia is going back up to the tower. Term is feminine. All right. That's why this is feminine, in which the summa tabulata, the highest joints, Junctuta, I'm sorry, Junc, let me try this again. Juncturas labantes, we're offering slipping joints, okay? Or we're giving dabant slipping joints. So what does that mean? It means that this tower, okay, there must have been like rotten or crumbly mortar in the tower so that if you were able to chisel it away, you could then push it over. You've probably seen this as a plot twist in like, I don't know, some prison escape movie somewhere where they chisel out the mortar in the cell and, the thing comes loose. All right, so um let's do this one. We attack. Oh, attack. Attack? How do you spell attack? Okay. Um Around the tower. Understood. Not with iron. Iron here meaning with swords. Um on which is just the quia, on which, in which, um the summa tabulata, the highest, um highest, want to say, hold on, wait, the highest um planks, is there a better way to say that? Planks, floors, maybe. Oh, floors, planks, dabant were giving. Okay. Were giving. All right. Labantis comes from labor, meaning slipping. Slipping, junctura, slipping joints. Um, and that basically just means that they are able to uh, loosen the mortar enough to knock the thing over. Okay. Convelimus, we wrenched alti sedibus from its, understood, deepest. Sedibus means seats, but we could say foundations here. Foundations. All right, so Aeneas is taking the tower. Okay, so you could even pull the this part that we wrenched up from the deepest foundations and pull it up to the top. We wrenched up this tower from its deepest foundations from down. Try that again. We wrenched up this tower, okay, standing on the edge, and from the highest roof, having been let out under to the stars, from where all of Troy is able to be seen, and the accustomed ships of the Greeks and the Greek camps are able to be seen. Okay. We attack around the tower with iron, on which the highest floors were giving slipping joints. And okay, and that we wrenched up. Okay, so I went back. So again, this is what's happening here. Oh, thanks, AJ. Sorry, AJ made me chamomile tea. All right. Um, and they're just the idea again is if you have like all these people climbing up, maybe I'll show you a video clip of this. If you have all these people climbing up trying to get up to the top of the tower, if you throw a big rock on them, it usually makes them stop, usually because they're all dead, which is the idea. Okay. All right. So they're able to see all of Troy, and they have this thing that's giving them, they're gonna knock this tower down. Okay, so here we go. All right. So Convelimus, we drive it up, altis sedibus from its deepest seats, and impluimus, and we, oh no, hold on. All right, and we, like drove, like drove it off, like pushed it off, like with force, though, like boom, and we drove, impluimus, we drove it off. We pushed, we shoved, maybe we shoved it, and it went down. Okay. And then we have the elapsa. Okay. Elapsa. And the thing having slipped. Ea is just like it's just like the thing. Um, the tower, I guess. Having slipped suddenly. Repente just means suddenly. Suddenly. Okay. Trahit drags. All right. Ruinum. Ruin. Drags ruin cum sonitu with a sound. And you could just hear the crunch of the tower as it hits. You get that, you need a special effects wizard to go, like the big explosion. Okay, this is, and okay, and what is it going to do here? It keyed it kills basically. All right, and it kills um uh well, I guess it falls against the battle line of the Greeks. Maybe that's easier. And it falls against the battle. Like the Agnina is like the army battle line um of the Greeks latte widely. So it like kills a whole bunch of them. Okay. So they was like very happy for a second. Okay, but ost is a very ancient form of but. But okay, ali, others, subeont, come up. So they just took out this massive tower and killed all these Greeks, and then there's just more popping up. Okay, it's like Mulan, where the little, I don't know, people are popping up out of the snow. I don't remember much about that movie, but others come up. All right, neck, neither nor, neither Saxa rocks nor ulam genus, ulam here going with the genus, nor any genus type. Genus can mean race, clan, but it can also just mean type. All right, because it's neuter. Um, nor any type talorum of weapon. Of weapon. All right. Because you really can't have that be a biological thing. I don't, well, I guess, okay, never mind. Just agree with me. Okay. Um, what do I want to say? Hold on. Interia um ceased, like ceased, stopped. Let's do it that way. Stopped there, understood. like attack. Right, that's not there, but it's there. And then the in Teria, it's just like meanwhile. You can throw that in wherever you want. It's kind of a toss-away word. I don't care. All right, so Aeneas, then what we see here is him running through this hidden passageway. He makes it into Priam's palace. He runs up, I don't know how many flights of stairs, gets to the top, sees the people. They are, when you're dismantling your own castle, you are at your bitter end. Like, there's nothing else you can do, okay? You're throwing pots and pans, okay? So they are surrounding this tall tower and they are going to toss it on top of the Greek soldiers. And it does its job. It kills a huge swath of Greek soldiers. But as he looks, more Greek soldiers just keep coming. And so it's a never ending slide. And of course, that's inevitable, right? Because we are at this point seeing the death of Priam. Well, we're about to enter into the death of Priam. Okay, so that's those lines. All right, get ready for your homework quiz next class. And then let me know if you have any questions.